But I'm a proactive mindset cop. I don't like the idea. It's tough to be a cop these days. We can't do real police work. All you need to do is handle calls. Just handle calls. You won't get any trouble that way. Fuck that. I signed up to catch bad guys. You go
Well,
catch bad guys.
yeah, you motivate me. You need to start off your briefings like that. Because there's the times I get, I'll get
Yeah.
stuck in that mindset. It's hard not to, but there's cops out there. My brother's one of them. They just won't take no for an answer. They're going to be a fucking cop until they retire, no matter how the politics, no matter how much trouble they get into. And those guys are motivating. And it's really motivating. It only takes me listening to somebody like, fuck yeah, my dick's hard
Yeah.
now. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get out
That's
there.
right.
I walked in here like all negative, and now I'm like, hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell my guys, hey, listen, my job is to make sure I'm the shield for you. I am telling you to go out and be a proactive cop. So it's my job to protect you. I can't let you get hit by going out and doing your job. So trust me when I tell you, I've got your back. I am going to put the work in to make sure nothing falls on you for doing what's right.
And that's so important. That is so important because I was going to bring this up. Um, you know, the best line I've ever heard from supervisor is if your heart's in the right place, I got you.
Yep.
If you make a mistake that's dumb, you might have to eat some hours, but overall, I got you. Have a fucking, not you, but supervisors need to have a
Yep.
fucking backbone. If I didn't violate policy and I didn't violate anybody's rights, I don't want to hear anything. When
Yep.
the lieutenant's like, I didn't really like the way Deputy Tyler
I don't give a fuck what you
took
like.
that guy down to the ground. As Sergeant, so and so, Sergeant so and so should be going, okay, well, we don't care what you like, LT.
Yeah. What's
Did he
policy
violate
say?
what? Because Tyler's got 18 different things on his mind right now on a patrol shift. Everybody does, or of a street crime, whatever. You're a cop. You're so scatterbrained in your car. You've learned to compartmentalize and control things, almost like your case is on your desk. I don't have time in my head to be stressing, not that I would, but stressing about the LT not liking my takedown. Um,
Yeah.
I did nothing wrong. Now you can't hate them for it. LTs are little mini politicians in the making. They need things to show that they can burn cops overall. And I'm being cynical. I'm just kidding. But they're essentially they're little mini politicians in the making. And so it stops with the sergeant. He's the last of the workers. He's the last of the
Yeah.
grunts. And that's why the union, they don't like LTs and up. The union's there for the sergeant and below because we're the workers. We're out there, So I think it's really important for supervisors to have their guys' backs. And again, not condone anything, not even condone mistakes because some mistakes, not that you have to burn this deputy or this cop at the stake, but if he made a mistake, he needs to know and be honest. Say, hey man, this ain't personal. You're gonna catch 8 hours for this.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm not mad at you, and trust me, I've done a lot to keep other things from coming down because they wanted more. I'm still here for you. It's just this I can't really. But if there's no policy violations,
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk to that cop about it. LT, you can talk to me about it, and it ends at me.
Yeah. I've got a unique benefit that I was an academy instructor for 3 years.
Oh, okay.
So in that, when it comes to use of force, because usually that is the most controversial thing. That is the thing that gets officers hemmed up a lot. And what I've learned through my experience is a lot of these lieutenants or higher, some sergeants, they don't fucking understand or know the use of force. They don't know any of the training. We had one that was like, my guy hit somebody with a closed fist. I know that we're not allowed to do that. I'm like, what fucking world are you living in?
Yeah.
I just
where does it say that anywhere?
Like I literally just told a class of 60, if you're gonna hit somebody, knock the screaming eagle shit out of them. Like, do you think they're doing that with an open hand?
Yeah.
No, one and done. That's what we want. Like, if you can finish it with one hit, that's fucking perfect. Now, what we do recommend is you don't use a closed fist on a grounded subject because us as cops, we suck at aiming. We tend to hit the ground, and we get a lot of broken fists that way. That's about the only thing we tell them about punching somebody. Yeah, but no, you absolutely can hit somebody with a closed fist. And that's no offense to departments that don't allow that, but this is Texas. So Florida, I'm sure they don't have a problem with it either.
No, because it's all about the way you again, another good supervisor is going to sit down with that cop that's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and he's going to go, we're going to write this out together, bud, me and you,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
can you tell me in your heart of hearts that you did the right thing? Like, yeah, all right, well then let's go through and articulate this
Yeah.
emotion, because right now, the way he got out of his car and started walking at you with his hands up, and you cold clocked him, you know, all right, we need to be able to explain this. You know, his stance when he got out, his eyes peering directly into yours, you know, his aggressive demeanor, rapid approach at you, you know, were his hands up like this, were that, you know, and especially that's where I do agree the body cams can come into right,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. I will tell you, I was an early adopter. I had bought my own body camera from Amazon,
like the security guards,
like a Chinese, like $30 guy. Audio was terrible. The video was like 1 megapixel. Like, but I had one and I loved it. I liked having it. I liked knowing that, because I knew I was doing the right thing. I just didn't want to go and have somebody make some false claim against me, and that's just how I looked at it. I was like, I know I'm doing the right thing, and I want to be able to protect myself against some false claim. So, anyway, I just had an example talking about one, body cam, and two, sitting down and being able to shed a little perspective with an officer who was getting hemmed up for what he did, and I had nothing to do with it, but he was getting hemmed up. He went hands-on with a taser. And that is a no-go for us. Like, when you go, if you're going to go hands-on, you holster up and you go hands-on. You don't want to go wrestling around with a gun any more than you want to go wrestling around with a taser in your hand. And I don't disagree with that. But there is shit that happens that you can't account for. Now, here is what happened. They show up. It's a mentally disturbed person. She spits on him after they had talked for probably a minute or two. Like, they're trying to calm her down. They got the rubber gloves on. Like, they have their guns aren't out. Nothing's out. She spits on one of them. Then the taser comes out. So now I got one trying to talk. One's covering with a taser. More officers show up. We're next to a busy roadway where the speed limit's about 40 to 50 miles an hour. Okay. Where there's a fence between them and the sidewalk. So you've got a very short window. You've got road, busy road, cars zooming by, and then you've got a fence. Nowhere to go. They decide they're going to have to go hands-on. They go hands-on. It's 3 or 4 officers, and this one officer that had taser, he had less lethal cover, he goes hands-on, and he didn't think to articulate. I think he knew why, and this is why it takes a supervisor to sit in and say, hey, let's go through this together. I see you had your taser in your hand. What can you tell me about that? Well, I know we're not supposed to do that. Okay, so why is your taser in your hand? Well, at the time it seemed right. I was like, well, let me tell you what I see. And this, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I do see you're right next to a busy roadway. And if your boy's loose grip of this sweaty, out of control woman, where is she going to go? The roadway's right there. Somebody could get knocked into that. So if it were me, I would like to have my taser ready just in case we lose grip and she gets spun out into the road. Which anybody that knows, if you fight with a squirrely, sweaty person, guy, girl, that can be a nightmare. Mm-hmm. And I'm in charge of their safety as well as other officer safety. So I had my taser in my hand just in case I had to tase them. Okay. You violated what GOs say, but you gave a good reason for it. Now, yes, you still might get your hand slapped, but now we got good articulation of why you did what you did versus that's a direct GO violation. You're fucked.